She used to text you back in minutes. Now it's hours, sometimes days. Sometimes you're not even sure she saw it, but you know she did. You know because you can feel it. There's this particular silence that settles in when a woman starts pulling back, and it doesn't feel like quiet. It feels loud. It fills every room you're in. It follows you into your car, into your bed, into the middle of a conversation with someone else entirely. And here's what's running through your head in those moments. Did I do something wrong? Should I reach out again? Or does that make me look desperate? Is she testing me? Is she losing interest? Is this fixable? How do I not lose her without completely losing myself in the process? That spiral. You know exactly what that feels like. But here's the truth that most men are never told, and it's the one thing that changes everything. Being ignored by a woman isn't the problem. Your response to it is what reveals everything about who you actually are. Most men, when they feel a woman pulling away, either chase so hard she suffocates or shut down so completely she disappears. Both responses feel like protection. Both responses destroy the connection. High-value men do something different entirely. And not because they've read the right books or memorized the right lines, but because they understand something at a deeper level that most men never figure out. You're not failing here. This is one of the most emotionally complex dynamics in any relationship, and almost nobody handles it well the first time. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what those 7 things are, why they work at the level of attraction and emotional safety, and how to show up in a way that makes you more magnetic, not less, when a woman creates distance. Let's get into it. Before we get to the 7 things, we need to talk about something most relationship content skips entirely. Most men believe that when a woman goes quiet, it means something is wrong with the relationship. The real truth? It usually means something is happening inside her, and she's watching to find out who you are when you're not getting what you need. Here's the part no one talks about. Women, at a deeply unconscious, evolutionary level, are running a constant background program that asks one question: is this man emotionally regulated enough to be safe? Not safe in the physical sense, safe in the emotional sense, safe in the sense that when things get uncomfortable, when she pulls back, when she's unavailable, when she's processing something she isn't ready to talk about yet, does he hold his ground? Or does he unravel? Because her nervous system is reading you before her mind even has the words for what she's feeling. When a man panics in the face of withdrawal, when he floods her with messages, demands an explanation, goes cold and passive-aggressive, or pretends he doesn't care while visibly caring, her nervous system registers one thing: instability. And instability is the single greatest killer of attraction that exists. Not because she's being manipulative, not because she's playing games, but because her attraction to you is fundamentally connected to her sense of safety with you. And safety is built not in the good moments, but in the hard ones. Most couples never figure this out. They treat withdrawal as a battle to be won, instead of a signal to be understood. High-value men treat it as an invitation, not to perform, not to fix, not to chase, but to demonstrate something rare: that they are the kind of man who doesn't need her validation to know who he is. That's the entire framework for everything you're about to hear. Number 1, they check themselves before they check on her. Most men, the moment they feel a woman pulling away, immediately focus outward. They analyze her. They replay the last conversation. They ask their friends what she meant by the double tap with no reply. They draft and delete texts for 45 minutes. And they forget to ask the one question that actually matters first: what's happening inside me right now? Here's the deeper emotional truth. The urgency you feel when someone you care about goes quiet, that's not about her. That's your attachment system activating. That's an old, primal alarm that says connection is threatened, and it's been firing since you were a child. It's not weakness, it's neuroscience. But if you act from that alarm without pausing, you will do and say things that make the situation dramatically worse. A high-value man's first move when he feels ignored is internal, not external. He asks, am I anxious right now? Or am I actually sensing something real that needs to be addressed? He asks, what do I actually need? And is it reasonable to need it from her right now? Or do I need to meet it elsewhere first? Here's what that looks like in real life. She hasn't responded in 6 hours. The disconnecting version sends a third message that reads, fine, I guess I'll just figure it out myself. Cold, passive, designed to make her feel guilty. The connecting version goes to the gym, calls a friend, gets absorbed in something meaningful, and when she does reach out, responds with warmth instead of residue. Her brain, in that second version, quietly registers one thing. He didn't fall apart. He didn't punish me. He just lived. And that is more attractive than any word you could have sent. When you check yourself before you check on her, you stop being someone who needs her attention to feel okay, and you become someone she actually wants to give her attention to. Number 2, they don't make her silence mean something it doesn't. The mind hates uncertainty, absolutely hates it. And when someone goes quiet, your mind will immediately start writing a story to fill that silence. Most men write the worst possible story. She's losing interest. She met someone else. She's pulling away because I did something wrong. This is the beginning of the end. And then, and this is the part that causes most of the damage, they start responding to the story they told themselves instead of to the actual reality in front of them. They pull back. They get cold. They start acting hurt about something that hasn't even happened yet. Here's the emotional truth beneath this pattern. Fear of abandonment, for a lot of men, doesn't look like fear. It looks like anger. It looks like withdrawal. It looks like the "I don't care" that is actually the loudest possible way of saying, "I care so much this terrifies me." Her silence could mean 100 things that have nothing to do with you. She's stressed at work. She's in her head. She's processing something she needs space to understand before she can speak it. The disconnecting version looks like this. She doesn't respond to his morning text by noon, so he sends, "You're clearly busy, don't bother." The connecting version? He sends nothing. And when she finally reaches out and says, "Hey, sorry, rough day," he says, "I figured. What happened?" She feels, in that moment, he didn't make my absence into a crime. He left room for me to come back. Not making her silence mean something it doesn't is one of the most emotionally mature things a man can do, because it protects the relationship from damage that was never supposed to happen in the first place. Number 3, they stay anchored in their purpose, with zero performance. Here's the part no one talks about. When a man is trying to impress a woman, she can feel it, even through silence, especially through silence. There's a version of getting busy with your life that is genuinely healthy and grounding, and there's a version that is a performance designed to make her notice you. Men do the second version constantly, and women can tell the difference almost immediately. Most men, when they feel ignored, suddenly become very publicly active. They post more. They caption their gym photo differently than usual. They casually mention plans in a way that's slightly too deliberate to be casual. Her nervous system reads it the same way yours would. He's performing for me. And performance, at the level of attraction, is the opposite of presence. High-value men stay anchored in their actual purpose, not a curated version of it, the real one, the work that matters to them, the friendships that feed them, the goals they were building toward before she entered the picture, and the ones they're building toward with or without her validation. The difference is subtle but seismic. Disconnecting, he goes to the gym, takes a mirror selfie, posts it at the exact time she's most likely to see it, and checks his views every 20 minutes. Connecting, he goes to the gym because he said he would. He comes home quieter and more settled. She reaches out. He doesn't mention the gym. Something in him is saying, I do not need her to witness my life to make my life feel real. And she feels that, without a word. She feels it like gravity. And here's what changes everything. A man who lives like that, anchored, absorbed, genuinely in motion, becomes someone a woman wants to reach toward, not out of strategy, out of instinct. Number 4, they communicate from strength, not desperation. High-value men do reach out.
Let's be completely clear about that. This isn't about pretending you don't care. It's not about playing games. It's not about waiting for her to come crawling back. It's about the energy underneath the words when you do reach out. Most men, when they've been ignored for a while and finally say something, say it from a posture of emotional debt. There's a quiet desperation underneath the text, a need to know they're okay, a hunger for reassurance dressed up as nonchalance. She can read that. Not always consciously, but her nervous system reads it every single time. Here's the emotional truth. There is a direct line between the emotional state you're in when you reach out and the response you receive. Not because she's calculating it, but because emotional tone is contagious. If you're broadcasting anxiety, the response you get will almost always carry anxiety back. The disconnecting version. Hey, I feel like you've been distant. Are we okay? I just need to know where your head's at. There's nothing wrong with those words, but the energy underneath them is, please reassure me. I can't handle not knowing. The connecting version. Hey, hope your week is going well. I'll be at the farmer's market Saturday if you want to link up. Open, warm, no emotional debt, no agenda beneath the surface. Her brain registers, he's not chasing me, he's inviting me. An invitation is infinitely more attractive than pursuit that reeks of need. When you communicate from a place of genuine security, where her yes would be great and her no is something you could handle, you become, paradoxically, the thing she most wants to say yes to. Number 5, they use the distance to grow, not just to wait. This one separates the men who eventually rebuild the connection from the ones who don't, and it's almost never talked about. Most men treat the period when a woman is distant as a waiting room. They're not really living, they're just pausing, killing time until she comes back, watching their phone, replaying conversations, rehearsing what they'll say when she finally reaches out. And because they've just been waiting, they arrive back in the connection exactly the same man she pulled away from. High-value men use the distance differently, not as a strategic play, not as a power move,
but because they genuinely understand that a woman's withdrawal is often, at some level, a response to who you've been being. And the most honest question you can ask yourself in that space is there something in how I've been showing up that I actually want to change? Not out of shame, out of curiosity, out of the deep self-respect of a man who takes his own growth seriously, regardless of external pressure. Maybe he's been emotionally unavailable. Maybe he's been inconsistent. Maybe he's been so focused on his own needs that hers went unnoticed. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe this is entirely about what she's going through. Either way, the man who uses that space for genuine self-examination returns to the connection different, more settled, more clear, more himself. And she feels it. She doesn't always know what's changed, but something in her is quietly registering. I don't know what it is, but he seems different, and I'm curious about it. That curiosity, bro, is everything. When you grow during the distance instead of just surviving it, you stop being someone she remembers and start being someone she discovers again. Number 6, they set boundaries without issuing ultimatums. High-value men don't tolerate disrespect, but they also don't punish. That's one of the most important distinctions in this entire video, and most men have never been shown what it looks like in practice. When a woman is pulling away in a way that is genuinely disrespectful, leaving you on red for days with no explanation, disappearing after real emotional investment, giving cold silence after conflict without any attempt at repair, there is a response to that. But it's not a threat, and it's not a guilt trip. Most men, when they've been ignored long enough to feel genuinely hurt, eventually snap. They send the message that's been building for days. You know what? This is not okay. If you can't even give me basic communication, maybe this isn't the right situation for either of us. That sounds like a boundary, but the energy underneath it is emotional overflow, and she knows it. The emotional truth is this: real boundaries don't come from frustration. They come from self-knowledge. They're not reactions, they're positions. And they sound completely different. Disconnecting. I'm done chasing someone who can't even respond to a text. Either you're in or you're not.
Connecting. Hey, I've noticed we've been out of contact for a while. I'm not interested in being in something that feels like a guessing game. If something's going on, I'd love to talk about it. If you need space, I can respect that, but I need to know which one we're doing. Her inner experience reading that second message? He's not begging. He's not threatening. He's just being clear about what he needs, and he said it without making me feel attacked. That is a man who respects himself, and a woman can feel the difference between a man who actually respects himself and a man who is performing self-respect while secretly hoping she'll rescue him. This isn't a communication technique. This is just what emotionally mature people naturally do. When you hold a boundary without punishing her for pushing it, the walls between you start to come down, because she can finally trust that you mean what you say without bracing for what comes after it. Number 7, they make her feel safe to come back. And this is the one most couples never figure out. Everything we've talked about so far is about who you are during the distance. This last one is about who you are at the return. Most men, when a woman finally reaches back out after a period of going quiet, receive her with one of two energies: cold punishment. Oh, you remembered I exist? Or desperate relief that accidentally comes out as clinginess. the over-explaining, the sudden vulnerability dump, the need to process everything all at once before she disappears again. Both responses communicate the same thing. Being ignored by you broke something in me, and now I'm unstable. High-value men receive her return with warmth, steady, unhurried, genuinely welcoming. Not fake, not a mask. Real warmth that is possible because they did the inner work in point 1 and used the distance for something real in point 5. The disconnecting version, she texts, "Hey, sorry I've been MIA. Things have been crazy." He responds, "Yeah, no worries." Cold, clipped. She can feel the wall he built the moment she walked through the door. The connecting version, "Hey you, glad you're back. What's been going on?" 3 simple words, glad you're back. And what moves through her when she reads that is something she wasn't expecting. I thought he'd be distant. I thought there'd be a price to pay. But there wasn't. He just let me come home. And here's what changes everything. When a woman learns that she can withdraw, process, return, and be met with genuine warmth instead of punishment or neediness, she stops feeling like she has to manage you. She starts feeling like she can be honest with you. And honesty, real emotional honesty, is the foundation of every relationship that actually lasts. When you make her feel safe to come back, you're not just repairing a moment. You're building the kind of dynamic where distance stops being something to fear because you've both learned that the connection survives it. Here's what I want you to take with you. None of what we talked about today is a playbook. It's not a strategy for getting her back. It's not a set of techniques designed to win a dynamic. It's a portrait of who you are becoming. A man who doesn't need a woman's attention to remain himself. A man whose sense of worth doesn't hinge on being chosen in any given moment. A man who can hold space for someone else's withdrawal without making it about his ego. And who communicates clearly, loves warmly, and holds his ground without apology. When you internalize this, you stop reacting and start responding. And she will feel the difference before you've even said a word. This isn't a checklist for a better relationship. This is the beginning of becoming the kind of man who attracts and keeps a deeply loving, deeply honest connection with a woman who is equally invested. If this hit different for you, if something in here felt like something you needed to hear, hit the like button because it tells the algorithm this conversation is worth having with more people. Subscribe if you want more of this. And drop in the comments, which of these 7 hit hardest for you? I read everything down there. Because here's the truth I'll leave you with.